the next year or so will be a period in the world economy which will be quite unusual. The American economy is weakening. Maybe the world as a whole is weakening. But meanwhile, Europe will actually do better than expected as a result of the changes they've made. People in Britain will say, well, Europe's doing better, Germany's doing better, but Britain is actually doing worse. Now, Britain will do worse because it is the one country that is now left, that's sort of the last man standing, that still believes in this sort of austerity-oriented, when there's a shock, we will make it worse kind of policy. And in 6 or 9 months' time, if I turn out to be right, that the UK economy ends up being the weakest economy, not in the world, but in Europe, being dragged down by the potential recession, I think, in the US, people really start asking, including in the government, what is it that we should have done differently? And one way or another, all these answers will converge on, we've been hamstrung, we've been paralyzed by these numbers which don't actually really mean anything, and which are completely outside our control, about the forecasts that the Treasury and the OBR are making about what the borrowing level will be 4 years from now. And incidentally, all the people who make these forecasts, they agree and they say this publicly. We have no idea whether these forecasts are actually right, and there is no way of knowing, but we just have to come up with a number because that's what the government says.
They change them all the time.
They change them all the time, but they change them for the worse if the economy is getting weaker. So I think we'll have a kind of convergence of opinion from the media. The media already constantly, whenever they talk about these fiscal rules, they always add the adjective self-imposed fiscal rules.
Her fiscal rules.
Her
Yeah, it belonged to her.
And people will say, why are we imposing this on ourselves? In order to get rid of them, they will have to change the personalities. And I think that's why I'm convinced that in the same way that in 1992, Norman Lamont had to resign in order to ensure the survival of John Major's Conservative government, they will need a scapegoat and will be the Chancellor.
This was a clip from our chat with economist Anatol Koletsky about what's going on in the global economy. To watch the full episode, click right here.